I'm Commander Shepard, and the Unnamed Games podcast is my favorite podcast on the Citadel. Shepard out.
Hello, people of the internet.
Oh my God!
Execute episode 66. Unlimited power. There we go. Yeah, that was my little Star Wars reference. All right.
You can take the makeup off now, Craig.
Oh. You hurt my feelings,
Mate, that's
man.
not makeup. That's not makeup.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 66, the Star Wars Order 66 episode. It isn't a Star Wars episode, it's about telly, but, you know, it's number 66. It's got to be talked about.
Is that why you have 66 on your name? Is that what that was reference to?
Order 66, my friend. Oh, yes, oh, yes. As you can hear for audio listeners, with me I have Mr. Alan Longfangs Howlett. How are you, my good man?
Good evening, sir. I have my big glass of bourbon. I have my packet of Pringles. Other crisp varieties are available. And I have my incontinence pants on, so I'm ready for the night.
Fandabulous. And we also have the, he's been missing for a number of weeks. It's Mr. Phil, Mr. Speed Freak Phil. How are you, sir?
I am very good, thank you. I was unaware Alan had upgraded to incontinence pants for the episodes now. I mean, that's really the epitome of it, I suppose. You know,
it's forward planning, mate. It's forward planning.
It's not just for the podcast. They're so usable. You can sit there, you play your game, you think I need to go for a wee, and then you think I forget the loot. Hang on, no, I don't. I can just stay where I am,
mate. Efficiency.
I'll be honest, I'm worried. Yeah, I'm worried. One day he's going to sit there and he's going to have this look on his face, and he'll be like, "What's up?" He's like, "Oh, my catheter slipped," or something like that.
I'm just doing a number 2.
Anyway, on that lovely thought,
massive grin on his face.
I'm going to put a little caveat out that Phil has moved house. As you can see, he's got a beautiful background, albeit a little bit pixelated now and again. Yeah. But he's got his own little office and everything. The problem is he's on proper pigeon-powered broadband, a 4G router that at very best gets about 8 meg download. Isn't that right, Phil?
Oh yeah, and it's a quality, a very solid and reliable 2 megabyte upload at the moment as well. So if I don't respond to questions or I appear to freeze, it's not that I've broken; it's that the internet is broken.
No change there, then.
My messages. No, I will of course send my messages via pigeon to Craig, and he can read out the answers if I need be.
Done. There we go. There we go.
I'm almost disappointed we haven't got a quiz this week because I'd be a shoo-in for the win.
Yeah, hit your buzzers.
Yeah.
About 15 minutes later, feels like. One other quick little thing I wanted to mention, just for video, people watching the video. Sorry, Phil's just putting a very funny face there. But people watching the video, we have our normal badge, as you can see on the right of the screen. But on the left of the screen, we have the Unnamed Games Pod logo that my son made and left on my computer screen the other week, and I forgot about it. So I thought I'd pop it on there. Thank you very much, Ryan. It's very nice. I really appreciate it.
Hold on, Ryan.
So
that should be the quiz. Actually, we should look at it and see if you can name all the games that those particular. I mean, I think we can all agree GTA's for the. Yeah,
oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. You see the Minecraft M.
I can see the M, and I can definitely see the Halo O down there.
Yeah, Predator P. Battlefield D.
Modern Warfare for the M as well.
Yeah, nice.
But some of them are a little bit tricky, I'd say.
Yeah, no, that's maybe Assassin's Creed for the N.
Maybe.
Could be, I reckon. It could be, yeah. But it's a good little piece of work.
Yeah. Yes, well done.
Good stuff. Oh, and Ryan's watching. He's put a little thanks. Ha. Cool. Right, let's get cracking then. So, as per usual, we're going to dive into what we've been up to this week. So, I'm going to go in traditional fashion to Alan first, because Phil always has to be last.
And rightly
you're
so.
Not first, you're last. Second, what place on the grid?
So Alan, being so excited for the upcoming Indiana Jones game that he thought, what kind of movie can I watch that's going to give me that astounding adventure and just fun and excitement? What did you watch, Alan?
Uncharted with Tom Holland.
You sound enamoured by it as well. Let
me put it this way.
I watched it too, right?
Hang on, Phil.
Don't jump the gun, Phil.
It's not that it's bad. It's just that it's not very good, in my opinion. I mean, there is a fantastic action scene in the film, which is just, I would imagine, because I've never actually played the games, just like the games. The problem is this is the action scene they put into all the trailers, with Tom Holland hanging out the back of an airplane. It's the only substantial action scene in the entire thing, apart from a couple of other fights. So it's like, that's it.
Yeah.
And I have to say...
It's Uncharted 3.
Yeah, and I have to say,
It's Uncharted 3,
no offence to Mark Wahlberg, but his Sully is non-existent. Really, he's not really likable. He doesn't see. He's just a non-character in my opinion. I don't even remember the name of the female characters. There are two, both of which seem to spend most of their time betraying everybody. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah. There's the one that's. But anyway, I don't want to give too much away. But anyway, and the only character that's got any sort of charisma and actually, thankfully, is Tom Holland. I mean, he's a good actor. I really like him. I enjoy him in the Spider-Man films, and I have to say that he does a really good job in this film as well. And it's not that, as I said, it's not that the film is bad. It's just kind of like meh.
Yeah. Isn't Antonio Banderas in it?
He is. Yeah. I'm gonna
Yeah,
call him the bad guy, but he's not really, because again, I don't want to spoil it, but it's like he's kind of the bad guy for a bit of the film.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's kind of like, there's one scene, for example, and again, I don't want to spoil too much, but let's be honest, it's not that great a film, you're not really missing out, but there's a bit where they spent ages trying to solve this puzzle, trying to get through this labyrinth in these tunnels and find where these keys and things fit and unravel the mystery, how to get somewhere, and they get there, and it's a nightclub with hundreds of people in it. And it's like you just spent the first 20 minutes of the film setting them up to get this key, to steal it from an auction house, to then go and do this, to figure out this puzzle, to go to a place where loads of people just walked in through the front door. Okay?
That's not, strictly speaking, fair.
That is exactly how it happens.
No. They find the key, they go through the maze, and then they get to the nightclub. They go through the nightclub, through another secret exit in the nightclub, and then do a bit more kind of mazy stuff, and then they get there.
So that makes it sound loads better.
They could have just gone through the nightclub, but they didn't know where they were going at the start. They just knew they had to go in that direction.
But I can't remember how. I haven't played all of this. I've forgotten her name. Lara Croft, the Tomb Raider games. I haven't played all of them, but I'm pretty sure there's not one where she goes to an underground catacomb and has to solve a puzzle in a church, move pews around to find a secret keyholes in an altar to open up a secret passage that leads through a tunnel to a nightclub populated by hundreds of people. That's just pointless. And
or maybe if they had that in, they'd have sold more copies of the game, wouldn't they?
Maybe. But it's that kind of writing. It's that kind of lazy writing you can expect for the majority of the film, I'm afraid. It's not clever. It doesn't wow you in any way whatsoever. Yes, there is some fun to be had. It's not bad. It's amusing on occasion. There's a nice bit of comedy and rapport between Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland. And if you're a big fan of the Uncharted games, I can probably see that there's lots in there that you would enjoy. But as a film, I personally think the Tomb Raider film was a lot better than this was, to be frank. And it's...
Yeah, what do you think? What was your take on it then, Phil? Because you seem like you liked it a bit more than Alan.
Oh, I've got to be honest, I mean, he's pretty fair in his assessment. It is a distinctly average movie at best. To be honest with you, like, I quite enjoyed the start of the movie, the kind of setup to it. I didn't mind the bit with the keys and the mystery. Okay, the nightclub was obviously a deal breaker for Alan. I kind of get they were trying to have that shock of like, oh my god, it's something completely unexpected is here, and then they carry on and
they succeeded.
Yeah, they did. You know, they got that. I'll be honest, the bit that broke it for me was the very end of the movie. There's this last kind of fight with some galleons. I'm not going to say any more than that, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that's awful.
Awful. And like, you know, there was a helicopter involved, and I was like,
I mean, it's bad enough that the physics is complete nonsense, isn't it? It's bad enough that the physics is complete nonsense, but not to mention the fact that they do billions of pounds of damage to ancient relics just so they can steal half a bag of gold and kill multiple people. I mean, they're like mass murderers. They steal a helicopter by murdering two people who are just flying the helicopter. They never do anything, and then they come in and they murder them, and it's like, oh my god, these are supposed to be the good guys.
And this is where we know Allah hasn't played the Uncharted games,
Yeah.
because if this was an Uncharted game, by that point in the story, you'd have killed 600 people.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know,
But
you
with
just
but
be
you'd been a
mass murderer,
cheeky
you'd be
chappy doing it.
Oh yeah, there'd have been a cheeky smile, a bit of a suave, you know, maybe some climbing up some rocks. Yeah, it's a very average movie. Like, I think to get any value out of it, you need to be a fan of the games, because, like you said, Mark Wahlberg brings nothing to it. Like, they could have put anyone in that role and it would have made zero difference. Tom Holland is really the only recognizable kind of engaging character in the entire movie. I mean, I did like Antonio Banderas, and, you know, he has his moment in the middle where he's a bit, and then it all goes wrong for him. Not going to say more on that, but yeah, watch it if you're a fan of the movies. Otherwise, for the love of God, don't pay to watch it. You know, wait till it comes out on Netflix or Amazon Prime or something, because it's
Well, I think, I mean, you've bought it, haven't you, Phil? And so I think the boys are quite keen to watch it. So, yeah, well done, mate. We'll sit down and
you're welcome.
Yeah. We'll sit down and watch that together and have a go through. I mean, you know, I've got absolutely no interest in it, really. It just seems, you could tell straight away from the trailer, it was going to be your normal, usual pumped-out Sony tripe that's just the blockbuster kind of, no effort put into it, edited to oblivion, just, you know, paint by numbers how to do an average film that's going to make X amount of money. It's the normal type stuff that they do. But what disappoints me is the fact that, you know, and again, nothing against Tom Holland, you know, I think potentially he could play a good young Nathan Drake. But the only reason they had Mark Wahlberg in as Sully was because he was going to play Nathan Drake originally when they first wanted to do the movie about 10 years ago or whatever it was, but it never got round to it. So they got him in for that. But you look back to the fan-made film that they released. Some people released a little while ago.
Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion as Nate Drake was absolutely fantastic. Yeah. And then I forget the guy's name. The guy from Avatar, the grizzly general guy with the grey hair. You know the one I mean? From
Liam Lang, isn't it, or something like that?
Or something like that.
Stephen
Yeah,
Lang?
he played Stephen Lang. That's it. Yeah, he plays Sully, and he's
Lang.
brilliant as Sully. He really nails it. You know,
so
just
good,
from the short little 20-minute film. It was just fantastic. I mean, yeah, Nathan Fillion was probably getting a little bit too old for it. Yeah, and it was, you know, it's just a shame that.
But that 20-minute fan-made film was so much better than the hour and 45 minutes Sony-made film. It was so much better.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we just want to say a quick hello to Kimmy. Kimmy's on, and I don't know if you boys watched last week's episode. You probably didn't. No. But me and Alan were on, and Chris. Me and Ratley were on, yeah. And Ratley had a bit of a troll asking us to talk about RuneScape. But I won't go into that. You can go back and listen to the other episode. So, Kimmy, no, I don't think we will be talking about RuneScape. It's a game, and that's it. Good stuff. Cool. Right. Moving on. Phil, you're next, my friend. So, what have you been playing recently? Well, it's something we've both been playing together, isn't it?
We have indeed.
Been diving in, chasing that dragon again.
Oh, yes. I have been playing the Olympic Games Festival of the gaming world. I've been playing Guardian Games in Destiny 2. It's got the colours, it's got the banners, it's got RPG shaders. It doesn't have speed racing, thank God.
RPG shaders?
Yeah, where's it? RPG.
Oh, RGB shaders. Sorry,
RGB. Yeah, the shader, the funky new shader that makes your armor change color. And it's very cool. Yeah, I forgot what the shader was called now, but it's very cool.
Yeah. Photo finish.
And, I've really enjoyed it. Photo finish. There we go. So I've really enjoyed it. I didn't play the previous Guardian game, so this was quite a good opportunity for me because I could unlock that hair apparent exotic machine gun that I'd never been able to get. It's average. Probably going straight in the vault, let's be honest, never using it again. I liked the kind of mashup they did where it was a combination of sort of strikes and like they had a couple of story missions in there and they sort of mixed them all up and then put them into the Guardian Games playlist. So every one of those you complete, you get your little Guardian Games medal, and once you get enough medals, you go and dunk them in your little flag and you see who wins out of the Titans, the Hunters, and the Warlocks. And I think it was Warlocks last week, and I'm going to say I think they won again this week by the looks of it.
Well, when I went into the tower earlier on today, the Titan flag was really high. I don't know if that means that Titans have won this one. I've no idea. But, yeah, it's...
Okay. I mean, I went there and I pressed the button and I got the little halo thing on my Warlock, so I'm kind of assuming that means the Warlocks won. Because they won last week and that gave us the halo, so...
Yeah. Nice.
Either way, yes. If you're a Destiny fan, then absolutely jump back in. It's just a mashup of the existing playlists. They've got a few new modifiers on there just to make it a little bit harder. But they've also got once you complete one of their what they call the competitive or you do the training playlist in the week, and that's the competitive one at the weekend.
Yeah.
And depending on how well you score in the training playlist, you then get a scaling buff for your character when you then play back through it again. So I think once you get to the platinum tier on there, you then get the silver buff, which gives you like a multiplying damage bonus and a movement bonus and a health regen bonus as well. So you can play a lot more aggressively than you would do normally. So typically with this harder content in Destiny, you have to kind of stay back and take cover. We all know I don't take cover well, ever. Just get killed a lot. So that was really nice for me because it meant I could survive just that little bit longer before standing in a hail of fire from 2 wizards.
I just want to put some context onto this. Me and Phil were playing with a friend of ours, Sherman, the other day, and there's a particular sort of alleyway on this one strike that we were doing where it's a bridge, and there's cover either side that you can move in and out of, and there is a hail of enemies in front of you. Big, nasty bosses, champions, and I was standing looking at Sherman in the opposite cover, the other side of the bridge, watching Phil with his machine gun standing like Rambo in the middle of it, just get absolutely wiped out multiple times. It's like, Phil, cover!
Did you have fun, Phil?
I did, yeah. Do you know what?
That's all that matters.
When I put my helium, I went in there and I was like, ah! And then the wizards went, ah! And then I went. Then Sherman ran in and healed me while he was invisible. I was like, brilliant! Ah!
Yeah. It's been good. I've really enjoyed it as well, actually, because this has actually been the first Guardian games that I've played. Because Guardian games always seems to come at the end of the season, yeah. And usually by that point, I've come off Destiny. I've played enough that I wanted for that season, and I then don't usually come back till the next season. But this time round, I really felt compelled to finish off the season pass that I bought, and I thought, you know what, yeah, I'm going to go in and get this all done, and I'm really glad I did. It's just like I say, like you said, doing that kind of multiplier play. So when you're going through and just trying to up your score and do it as efficiently as possible, changing your loadouts, doing little tricks to try and get higher scores. Like there's this great little triumph that you get a bonus score for. I forget what it's called now. It's insult to injury, that's it. So you go up to one of the hardest type enemies, you whittle their health down to basically nothing, and then you do a little emote dance in front of them before you kill them with like a finisher move, and it gives you like an extra 4,000 points. That was great fun going through that earlier on today. But yeah, it's
right emote.
Yeah. But good fun, and it is the end of the season, isn't it? So we've got the next season coming on Tuesday. This week at Bungie came out this week, and they said they're going to drop a trailer the morning of Tuesday if you want to see what's coming, but they want people to kind of go in blind with it. But I'm quite excited to see what happens because quite a bit of a twist in the story this season with old Lord Saladin. So it could be interesting what happens going forward, I think, with the Cabal. But yeah, I'm not going to ask you, Alan, because I know you have zero interest in Destiny and probably don't even know what we're talking about with half of it.
I do know what you're talking about. You got the first part right.
Yeah. Oh, good stuff. No, yeah, it's good. Right. Alan, Love, Death and Robots season, is it 2 or 3?
It's season 3 actually. I watched it. I watched the whole lot. I binged it, and to be fair, it doesn't take that long. It's about two and a half hours, and it's all little mini. There's 8 episodes in this season. I think there was the most was season 1, which was 16 episodes, and then it went to 9 episodes for season. Or 8 for season 2, and then it's 9 or 8. I can't remember for season 3. And they're all somewhere between. I think the smallest one, which funnily enough is my favourite one, is about 8 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes long, and the longest one is like 20 minutes long. And they're these animations. And they're whatever you want. I mean, for me, if I had to describe them, I remember, and my memory's never that good to be fair, but I do remember when I was a kid, being a sci-fi nerd and a geek, one of my favourite things was these novels that you could buy, these anthologies of these science fiction stories. And you'd buy this anthology and it'd have maybe 10, 15, 20 short stories in it, all science fiction, but you never knew what you were going to get. They were always different, completely different. You'd have one that was super futuristic, futuristic, one that was set on modern times but with an element of sci-fi to it, all different. And that's what Love, Death and Robots is really about, or Sex, Death and Robots, is it? Love, Death and Robots? I can't
Love,
remember.
Death and Robots, yeah.
Yeah, Love, Death and Robots is
Love,
really
Death and
about,
Robots.
it's really like that. It's like each one is so, they're animated differently, you know, some of them are very, very sort of like different types of animation, very interesting ideas. And out of the 8 episodes, I'm going to stick with 8 for this season. I have to say that 6 of them I absolutely loved. There was one I absolutely didn't like, even though the animation was fantastic, and one I could take it or leave it. My favourite one was the shortest one. It's about 6 minutes, and it's called Night of the Mini Death. And
Right.
it's you've got to watch it. I cannot recommend this. If you have Netflix,
Is it funny or?
it is funny as hell. It is basically Night of the Living Dead, yeah.
Okay.
But it's done with little miniatures, and it is absolutely hilarious. It is so well done, but it's not like they've just done it on the cheap. It's like the special effects are amazing, but it is still so funny. The first minute just starts with these two minis going into a graveyard and having sex all over the gravestones, and then they end up causing this, like, these undead to start rising, and then it escalates.
Yeah.
And it is just phenomenal. And then there's another one which is almost like based on almost like Cthulhu, and it's kind of like these massive this squad of 6 soldiers in Iraq find an underground cave with this, like, and I don't want to give too much away, but there's so much variety in the stories. Everyone may not be for everybody, but if you haven't caught any of these yet, I would definitely recommend, you know, I mean, if you just want to watch one, you could watch one in 5, 6, 10 minutes, and then go away and come back the next day and watch the next one, which is 10, 20 minutes long, and just tick them off that way.
Yeah.
But out of the 3 seasons, which is must be, what was it, 8, 9, that's 17 plus 16, so that's like, no, you know, just over 30 episodes. I'd have to say there's at least a 75% success rate for me. As far as really enjoying what the content is, what the story is, and some of them I wouldn't have thought they would be my thing, and then it gets to the end of the story and you're like, oh wow, yeah. I think there's one, I can't remember which season it is, 2 or 3, where basically the guy opens up his fridge and finds a little civilization starting. And it runs for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
and
I've seen that one.
And it goes all the way through as they evolve into like this futuristic space, like faring nation, and they have wars and nuclear wars, and he's watching with his wife in the fridge, and it's amazing. It's so clever, and it's literally 10 minutes long, and that's why I would heartily recommend this series. It's on Netflix, and as I say, I binged the whole lot. Probably took me a little over 2 hours to watch, 2.5.
Nice. Yeah, I've watched some of Love and Robots, Love, Death and Robots, sorry, and it's one of those ones though where, because it's very adult, some of them very adult, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so during the day was never really a suitable time for me to watch with kids about, and then kind of it's not Chris's sort of thing. So if we were like watching TV together or something, she's no way she's going to enjoy that, and then it's just kind of keeps dropping off my radar. I see it, I think I really should watch that at some point, and I just never get round to it. I need to make the effort. It could be the perfect thing, like before going to bed, you could just watch a couple of episodes, you know, just because it's so short, just dip it in. Have you watched much of it, Phil?
Good. So I've only watched the first season. I completely missed the second season, and I actually wasn't aware the third season was on there. So good point with that one, Alan. Because obviously, being a big anime fan, that's like 100% up my street. I mean, the one that always stuck with me for the first season was the one where there's the farmers and they have the giant mech robots for doing the farming, and then they have to defend their cattle from aliens. And they start like modifying their like tractor mechs basically to get in a massive battle. It's pretty epic. Highly recommend it. It's like the 3rd or 4th episode of it, and they go absolutely full in on it for like 15 minutes.
There's another episode in this 3rd series where there's a farmer who's got a rat problem. I highly recommend this one as well. It is amazing, this episode. Again, another absolute classic. Yeah.
Nice. Highly recommended then all round by the sounds of it. So, well, on the subject of animation, I spoke about it last week, and I might have spoken about it a bit before, but Phil had obviously he's convinced me to get into the Clone Wars that I really struggled with early on. Won't go through the whole story again. I finally finished all of the Clone Wars, and I just got to say, I mean, I know other people have said it before, but particularly the last 2 seasons, but particularly the last season, and even more particularly the last 4 episodes of season 7 on the Clone Wars, absolutely phenomenal. Top tier Star Wars, Absolutely fantastic. I mean, I'm so gutted I never got to it earlier. And it was that if anybody out there is in the same position as me, where you watch those first couple of seasons, and the first ones, they're not great. They're really kiddie, and they're just like, okay, I see what they're having a bit of fun with Star Wars, and like me, you just kind of leave it. But wow, the whole of season 6 and then into season 7, the way they cap it off as the Clone Wars, not really being about Anakin and Obi-Wan and all the Jedi Order. It's Ahsoka's story, and the clone story, and it's something that was really missing from the films. It is filling a huge gap, and I absolutely loved it. It was absolutely fantastic. Obviously jumping on it because Obi-Wan's coming out very, very shortly, so now I'll finish that. I'm now going into episode 3 and watching the Bad Batch as well, so I should be able to get that all done before Obi-Wan lands. I take it, Alan, you've watched have you watched the Clone Wars, Alan, right the way through to the end, season 7?
No, I haven't, not at all. I've barely watched any of them. I think I watched a couple of the first season when this is a bit kiddie for me and never took up again. So,
mate, I'm talking season 7 is Mandalorian levels of awesome, like. It's
That's
honestly,
a bold
mate,
statement.
Seriously good. Returning characters, things you didn't see coming, great levels of additional storytelling to add weight to the rest of the story. I've got a bit of a link that I got from, I can't remember what, I think it's like Polygon or somewhere like that, where someone's gone through and they've pulled out like the key episodes to watch. There's like maybe one episode from season 1, maybe 2 or 3 from season 2, maybe 1 from season 3. And then when you get up to like, it's watch all of season 6, all of season 7. But they're ones that all add weight to things that have happened in the movies, like understanding more about Order 66, reference, from today. Again, finding out more about Obi-Wan's past and maybe why he kind of looks the other way with the whole thing with Anakin and Padme a little bit. And there's lots of, there's maybe the way that Yoda handles the whole situation in episode 3. It adds weight and context behind a lot of that. It's really well done. At the end of the day, its last 2 seasons they're completely produced and are kind of guided by Dave Filoni. So they are the predecessor to what he did with Mandalorian. So I would seriously go back and do it, Alan. I really would. I'll share that link to you.
Okay.
I mean, just drop in and kind of add the weight and why the seasons are so different is that seasons 1 to 3 were very much written as a children's program. And you see a little bit of it, like you said, towards the end of season 3, where there's a couple of kind of key episodes of content in there. But it's really kind of season 4, they completely switched gears. There was a small break, I think, between season 3 and season 4, and they switched gears and they basically realized that the people that actually watched the Clone Wars were a lot more adults and a lot more Star Wars fans than necessarily children. And that's why you see that very much when I recommended you to start with season 4, that's why you see that big shift in the way that the stories are told. And they tend to be those 3 episode arcs. Particularly then season 5, they realized how popular season 4 was. They got more money. They got to the end of season 5, and that was officially the end of the Clone Wars. Like, they stopped. Season 6 was done by Netflix, and it was a Netflix exclusive, I think, for 6 months or a year. So Netflix, I believe, funded it, and this was before the Disney purchase as well, as far as I'm aware. And that was, again, it was designed to add in more weight and more detail, like to kind of see episode 2 and episode 3. They wanted to add more context to what was going on behind the scenes. And then season 7 was very much written, again, it was like, it was a couple of years from 5 to season 6. And it was another 2 or 3 years between season 6 and season 7. And season 7 was very much written, as you said, like Ahsoka's story and the story of the clones, to bring in more detail and more background. Again, it was very much focused on us, like us as Star Wars fans, not focused on a children's program. Like, the animation style was simply just the vessel for delivering that story content. And that's... I think that's why you see this key shift, particularly in the budget spent, the quality of it, the way the stories are told. Is they adapted as they realized who their audience was, and then they've revisited it to then add more weight, and they've taken what's worked really well in the Star Wars world, and then they've pushed that into the Clone Wars to give us that detail. And I know you said you're obviously going to do the Bad Batch now, and obviously that is very much a product of the end of season 7. So the quality of Bad Batch is amazing. But you see the same thing with the Rebels series as well. So very much the first season of the Rebels is almost a little bit. It goes back to the earlier Clone Wars. It's a little bit more kid friendly, and then it doesn't work. And then season 2 and season 3 and season 4, they just goes straight back into the Star Wars fans. And again, it's a lot more background, a lot more detail about everything that's happened between episode 3 and episode 4. And you find again, you see Ahsoka as a character again. You see old Obi-Wan Kenobi later on in the Rebels as well. So there's some really cool stuff in there. So I would definitely recommend plowing through into that as well.
It's definitely highly recommended. One of the big things I think with getting that season 6 and season 7, I found like the depth of the color palette really changed for me as well. I don't know if it was just the quality of it. There was
a lot higher contrast, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot higher contrast. The skyboxing stuff. But Alan has been playing something that is quite the opposite, and with a real lack of color, haven't you, mate?
Yeah, I had a Trek to Yomi, which I think it came out about a week and a bit ago, and I haven't got too far into it. I don't think it's longer. I think I've read somewhere that's about 5 to 6 hours long, so I'm a couple of hours into it, and it's kind of sideways. Most of it's sideways on. It's kind of a sideways kind of scrolling game.
Or kind of fixed perspective sometimes, isn't it?
Sometimes it's fixed perspective, which, to be honest, I'm not a fan of. It's one of those things why I was never a fan of Resident Evil or even the early Silent Hill games, because it absolutely drives me mental. You're pushing left as you go off a screen, and then all of a sudden the next one you're supposed to be going up, and then so you walk into a wall, and you're like, oh crap, what am I doing? I'm now walking in the wrong way, and it takes me straight out of the immersion, because it's like I never know which way I'm supposed to be going when I go from screen to screen. But the thing with Trek to Yomi is, the visuals are just stunning. I would say it's not a AAA game. I'd say it's a smaller developer. I can't remember the name of the developer.
It's Devolver Digital, isn't it?
Is it Devolver
published
Digital?
It? Yeah.
But they've clearly not wasted any time on working on how the aesthetics are and what the game looks like. It is visually stunning, and it is very black and white visuals. There's no color there, but what is there? It very much harkens back to me to the films like Eight Samurai and stuff like that. Those very old Japanese samurai films, and it has that real feel.
Kurosawa,
about it.
Is that what they call it?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Kurosawa, that's the black and white style.
Yeah, and it really, really works. It's just beautiful. Some of the places you go to, you walk in, it's just like, there's this wind blowing and things blowing in the wind, and it's lovely, lovely visuals. The combat is good fun. It seems a little basic, if I'm honest. There's basically a parry system in place. But it's more of a, we're not talking about a 20 or 30 hour game here. I think if it was a much bigger game with a lot more scope, I'd be a bit more worried about the combat. But from what I've played so far, I've had a lot of fun.
You say a 20 to 30 hour game?
I said if it was a 20.
Oh, sorry. I was like, blimey.
No. I've read somewhere that because I think I watched Skill Up's review on it, and he was saying it's about 5 to 6 hours long.
Sorry, right. So you did say that earlier on.
Yeah.
Apologies. Sorry.
So and that's why it doesn't worry me, because the combat is enough to make it engaging. It's fun. And you do feel like you're a bit of a kick-ass samurai. I've taken on my first boss, and he was very challenging, and I had to do it and you try about 4 or 5 times before I managed to defeat him. There's a great sense of achievement with that, and just you just got to get that timing right, with the parry, and then you go in with the attack as a heavy attack and dodge the blows and stuff like that. So there is an amount of tactics to it and a bit of strategy, but it's not particularly in depth. There's only certain 2 or 3 different moves that you can do, but I'm very much enjoying it so far. And it's on Game Pass, so it's doesn't cost me any extra money. Yeah, exactly. You got Game Pass, then you can just download it. Playing it on the PC. I'm not sure it is on the PC and the console. I think it is.
It is on. I played it on console.
Yeah. So I've been playing it on the PC, but I played it on the console. I think I possibly did the same as you. I've literally done played it when you were a child at the start and got through to that first boss guy there. Yeah, and pretty game. Had a very authentic sort of old style samurai movie feel to it. It didn't really grab me. I got to that bit and I didn't feel compelled to go any further, to be honest. It was like, I think with samurai stuff, I've kind of got a little bit of what Phil has with cowboy stuff. It just doesn't really grab me in the same kind of way. I played I completely forgot what it's called, the samurai game on the PlayStation. Ghost of Tsushima. It's a great game, and the sword fighting is brilliant in it, but the samurai thing just didn't
really grab me that much. Really, I think it's just I just don't resonate with it all that well. Have you tried Trick to Yomi, Phil? Download it on your Pigeon broadband.
Yeah, on my Pigeon broadband, I sent a little message off that said, "Dear Devolver Digital, can I download your game?" And they posted me back a disc, so I could install it. And that was still quicker than waiting for it to download off Game Pass. So I did turn it on just to have a brief look. I've literally spent about 20 minutes playing it. I haven't been in the right frame of mind to sit down and play through it. Like, I loved Ghost of Tsushima so much that I'm sure I will love the aesthetic and the way this game plays. I don't tend to be such a fan of those kind of almost that side-scrolling content as much. So I don't necessarily know how I'm going to get on with this at the moment. I haven't put enough time into it, but I do like the visual aesthetic to it. So it's very much on my list of games to play. Because I mean, Devolver Digital, they did that weird West game as well, didn't they? I think.
Well, it's not.
And was it Shadow Warrior or something as well? The other one.
They're the publisher. They're not the developer.
Oh, they're just the publisher. Okay, never mind then. Yeah.
So,
it's very similar,
but they are very much an indie publisher, so they're all kind of indie type games.
Yeah, they all seem to be those smaller indie titles. Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to spend a bit more time playing and see how I get on. But yeah, I haven't put enough time into to comment on it at the moment. Just that it looks nice on the face.
I think it's one of those games with it's a small game. It's not going to take a long time to finish. I do feel the same way that you did, Craig. It's not normally the game I would play. However, I've played things like Inside Out and Limbo, which have grabbed me from the get go, and don't necessarily have the combat, but definitely have the side scrolling and the trying to solve puzzles type of element. And I've been totally entranced by those games, so much so that I played Limbo from beginning to end over a day and a half, and I couldn't put it down. Yeah. With this game, I didn't feel the same, but I do feel that there's the element of the story. I think that if you're invested in the story and you've got 5 or 6 spare hours over a weekend or a week, then it's definitely worth giving it a punt if that's your cup of tea.
Yeah, no, good stuff, guy. Good stuff. And like you say, because it's on Game Pass, and if you're already a subscriber, it's worth giving it a punt. If you're not paying for something, it's always worth trying something, even if it is just to find out you don't like it. Which there's something new that's landed on. Sorry,
that's what I tell all the girls.
There you go. Look.
No charge, ladies. No charge.
So there's another thing that's landed on Xbox that you don't have to pay to try, because there's a free trial of it. And this is something that will probably interest Phil. It is Armour Reforger. So Armour has finally been ported over to the Xbox. Did you know that, Phil?
How?
So, John, I saw that this afternoon, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to download that." Then I realised it was 24 gigabytes. I went, "Oh, not going to see that anytime soon."
Bring your Xbox around my house, mate. It'll be fine. We'll get some stuff.
I might have to. It's that bad at the moment.
How the hell are you going to be able to play Armour on a controller?
Mate,
that game is renowned for having like 60 million shortcuts.
Yep,
so much so that you actually need keyboard cutouts to understand what buttons do what. How the hell is that going to go to a controller?
The only thing I've done so
death by scroll wheel, like death by hold the button. No. It's just like a bazillion options on a wheel.
It's not that easy. It's not that easy. No, so basically, I've played the tutorial at the moment. Yeah, it could be a keyboard, yeah. So I've just done the tutorial at the moment, and it's very much like hold LB and press B for this, hold RB and up for this, hold up for this, hold select to bring up the...
what about... I mean, it's got like 16 stances, isn't it? It's like kneeling on one knee, lying down in the grass, standing up, sitting on your ass, balancing on your head, leaning on one elbow, leaning round the corner.
I think they may have sort of have toned it down a little bit for PC. I mean, you can still do that, yeah. You can go prone, crouched, or standing. You can lean round corners and things like that. You can do first person, third person. It's very much, they've actually kind of put into it, because it is mil-sim, which we are, to be honest, really lacking on console. I mean, there's like Hell Let Loose, and I can't even think of any more. Maybe the Insurgency Sandstorm.
Rainbow Six Siege.
Or Ghost Recon if you play on the super hardcore mode.
No. That's not mil-sim, is it? It's hard. It's a bit harder. It's not mil-sim.
I was thinking.
Okay,
what was
it? Dragon.
What was that one? Operation Flashpoint. That was a mil-sim back for the day.
So Operation Flashpoint is the predecessor to all these Armour games. Yeah. So it was originally like as a PC game, and I was a massive fan of this one. I would have been about 8. And it was like, because you literally got the map creator on there, and it was just their 25-kilometer square map. You could drop a tank in, or a
back,
helicopter,
mate.
or soldiers. It's back.
It's back.
And it's got mods, did I read as well? Because the thing I loved about the original Operation Flashpoint is people would mod their own stuff into the game. And I managed to download a working Airwolf. Like, the guns popped out, it had the rockets, it did like 700 miles an hour with the turbo boosters. Somebody even put a mission in there with the Airwolf music. You know,
You could fly it?
So a thing then. You could get in it, you could fly like a helicopter, you press the boosters and it would fly like a jet plane. It was amazing.
I would have crashed it immediately. In Operation Flashpoint, I probably told this story before, but it once took me nearly 2 hours just to cross one goddamn field. Damn you, snipers! Damn you!
So like I say, I've only tried the tutorial so far, but yeah, the weapon, the whole control system is pretty convoluted, but it's got that real authentic armor feel about it. It's on a slightly newer engine. You know, it doesn't look like a current game. It looks like a really pretty old PC game, much like Armor still does now, like Armor 3. And it's got, so what they teach you within the tutorial is that it's very much about kind of land grab. So when you're doing these multiplayer modes, you've got this whole map, and you're going to areas to collect supplies, and then you put them into the back of a truck. You take the truck over to another point where you can set up a new checkpoint or roadblocks and things like that, and you're starting to capture new areas with different communication lines. So it looks like it's going to be, you know, pretty heavy going. And I don't know what the community is going to be like on Xbox, but I know it's still got a really healthy PC community, Armor. I'm definitely up for potentially giving it a bit of a punt. I know you will be, Phil, probably, maybe.
Oh hell yeah. Absolutely, yeah, definitely. No, I'm all up for that. Yeah, I loved those original Operation Flashpoints and the first and second Armors. So I'm ashamed to say I haven't spent much time playing Armor 3, so I'm definitely going to take this as an opportunity to get involved. It's also it's kind of like a teaser for Armor 4 as well, isn't it? It's some of the things they're looking at implementing.
Oh, is it?
So that when they do release Armor 4, I think because they want Armor 4 to be next gen console and PC this time rather than it just being PC exclusive. I think it was an article I read when I sort of looked into it. The idea is it's kind of a bit of a test bed for how it will appear in console form, is the idea behind it. So it's quite nice for us. We get to see how it develops, and there's I think it's almost, isn't it kind of sold as like early access as well?
It is. It's game preview. Yeah,
it's on
Xbox game preview.
Yeah, it's very much so. So, we're going to see that game very much crafted by how the community plays and feeds it back. So those convoluted control systems, that's straight out of just, if you wanted to play on a controller on PC, you just assigned hotbars by literally like left trigger and XBA, and then right trigger XBA and left bumper X, and you just assign the keyboard button presses to the relevant shoulder button and face button. So I'm sure that's what they've done, is they've just ported that PC method across.
What do you reckon, Alan? Is it one you'll dip into?
I mean, I've had a history of playing those sorts of games. If I was playing with you guys, I probably might give it a punt for a couple of evenings. I'll have to download it.
It's a 6-hour free trial, so it's worth giving it a go. We can see if we can jump on together, have a little blast, run around, probably get shot by some snipers and turn it off. But it's that's usually what happens in those games.
I'll put it on download tomorrow. We'll have a go.
Nice, sounds good. So
all I remember is spending an incredible amount of time crawling everywhere.
Yeah. Just take cover
by somebody.
So I'm going to do a very tenuous link here to the next section, and that is Phil, anime.
Oh, wow. Straight to the point. Love it.
That was slick. I didn't even notice.
I know. Gifted, isn't it?
It's because I can't remember what he said. It was something I didn't understand what it was. It wasn't words.
Yeah. So he asked me, what have you been up to this week, Phil? I was really struggling to think of things. And then I actually went through and watched an older anime on Crunchyroll, because Crunchyroll bought Funimation however many months ago. So they've got so much more content on there. It's like double the amount of content they have. The one I actually ended up watching this week was what's called Ascendancy of a Bookworm. And I really like this because it fits into what they call the isekai category, or basically otherworld category. You get teleported to another fantasy world where it's like technological, or it's medieval, or something like that, or it's it's generally always going to be fantasy worlds, or it might be like a video game world, very much like Sword Art, where they get trapped in a game. It's otherworld category. What I really liked about this one is, though, it's much more grounded. It's a more kind of adult perspective they take on it. So, for example, the person who gets transported, she's 30 years old. She's a librarian, hence Ascendancy of a Bookworm, and she gets killed by a bookshelf falling on her. and that's the end of her life as a 30-year-old. Pretty harsh. This happens in the first
That's a dangerous occupation, that is, librarian. Lots of fatalities.
Yeah, and hashtag spoilers. Come on, man. Like, just giving away the end of the
that
film.
counts as a spoiler. Yeah, in the first 30 seconds. Yeah. And
I thought that was the end of the series. Right, sorry.
She made her way up to being the librarian and gets killed, and that's it. Spoiler, don't watch it. No, so anyway, she's like 30 odd, she gets killed by books falling on her, and then she wakes up in the body of a 5-year-old girl in what's essentially the slums of a medieval world. And one of the things I found really interesting about this is it very much highlights the difference. Like, you know, if you look at these medieval cultures, like how much, you know, they don't obviously educate their children and things like that. There isn't such a thing as schools. It's very much only the nobles that are educated to that level, and there's very much the different rankings, like you've got the nobles and the commoners, essentially. So she is born as a commoner because she was educated.
I think you mean peasants.
Modern society. So peasants, yes, they do use the term peasant, if that makes you feel better in the English dub of it. You know, but obviously then immediately, despite the fact she's 5 years old and she's completely sickly and she can walk 10 steps without collapsing with a fever because she's got some horrible degenerating disease that she's born with as well. But because she's educated as a modern day person, there's things like, she's like, why don't you use soap, for example, to wash your hair? And there's little things like that. And they're like, oh my God, you can write words and do mathematics. And it's the way it explores how these medieval societies were built. And because she's educated in a modern way, she's effectively more educated than the high society of nobles. Like, she sits above them in terms of level of education, but because she was born as a commoner, she's not. I mean, it's a really interesting aesthetic, and the reason it's called the Ascendancy is almost like the way she works up through the ranks, as they're like, well, hang on a sec, why do you understand this? Why are you, at 7 years old, able to do something that fully grown adults can't? And it takes a very kind of somber and adult look at the way these medieval societies would integrate or work with a modern society, and then they sort of layer on some of the more magical elements, just to obviously kind of change it up. And, if you like that stuff, that's kind of where it goes from there. But I mean, it's been a really nice kind of somber watching. I've really enjoyed it. It's quite light-hearted in a lot of places and quite comical. And, there's some good laughs in there. So, for those of you who are looking for...
So does it not have mecha ninjas?
It has no mecha ninjas, I'm afraid. I'm sorry to disappoint you, Alan.
I'm out.
I have plenty more recommendations for mecha ninjas, but...
So, Phil, we have... Yeah, we have a couple of anime fans who listen, don't we? So, have you watched the whole thing? Would you recommend it to an anime fan?
I would absolutely recommend it, particularly if you're a fan of the isekai category, and if you are an older generation. So, a lot of anime is obviously aimed for that kind of 16 to, well, even probably younger than that, like that 12 to 20 age group. Like, the way it's written, the way they talk about things, it's, they tend to have those very kind of voluptuous character styles. It's none of that stuff. Like, there's no characters walking around in a bra and pants, for example. Everyone's dressed normally. It's a much more adult kind of theme.
Definitely, Al.
I'm sorry, Alan. I'm ruining it every word I say. It's aimed at an older demographic, and it's a nice take on that. And I've really enjoyed watching it. I'd highly recommend it. The reason it actually popped up to me is they've started releasing new episodes for it. So it's technically, there's 32 episodes available, but the season ends at episode, I think, 24 is the first season technically. And now they're on season 2, but they've just gone straight in and numbered it as episode 25, 26, 27, 28. So there is a natural stopping point, which I'd recommend at sort of episode 24. Particularly, I mean, if they're anime fans like me, they'll love to just absolutely binge watch it. It'll be you'll start watching one for 20 minutes, and before you know it, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you've watched 10 episodes. That always happens. So I would recommend watching it up to 24 and the end of season 1, and then season 2, it takes a different, where I was talking about, they go down the kind of more, there's magic in the world as well. They take that kind of approach for season 2 and start going with it. So I've watched a couple of episodes, and they look like they're going in an interesting direction, but I'm holding off watching any more until that season finishes, so I can just power through it in one sitting. Nice. But yes, cool. I 100% recommend it.
They're from the our resident anime guy. So thanks for that, Phil. So moving back over to Alan. So we have got one of our regular features. We're going to move into the Project Zomboid up. No, hold on.
Hang on.
No, you've gone off. No, hold on.
So I've decided, right, I've got a little bit bored of playing third-person zombie apocalypse survival crafting games. So I
understandable.
thought,
I've been off for a couple of weeks, so this is news to me.
I mean,
What's going on?
yeah,
The
yeah,
world is turned upside down.
exactly. I mean, I got past 900 hours. I started to feel a little bit like I was, just grinding a bit, and I fancied something different. I wanted to try
Were
something.
you getting through too many pairs of incontinence pants whilst playing? Was that the problem?
May have been, but
too much
I was too moist. But the fact of the matter is I wanted to try something different. I wanted to try something else. So what I did is I decided to go back to a game that I played a few years ago on the Xbox, and because it hasn't been upgraded on the Xbox very recently or an awful lot, so I thought I'll try it on the PC and see what it's like on there. And that game is 7 Days to Die. Totally different game. This is a first person zombie apocalypse survival crafting game. So totally different from Project Zomboid. I mean, you're actually in the world. You're not isometric. You're first person. So yeah, totally different.
Hugely different.
Yeah, and you can dig holes in this one, and they're different types of zombies, and yeah. So
did you make a new splash screen for this one, Craig, or did he drop this on you at last minute?
Oh no, I've been watching it. I've been seeing he's been playing it. I looked all of a sudden and went, oh no, here we go. He's gone down another rabbit hole. It's a different one. It's another zombie rabbit hole, and it's another survival rabbit hole.
If it wasn't for
There's no way he's playing Armour with us.
If it wasn't for the fact that we're still waiting for Vin Diesel's Renaissance Arc 2, that isn't probably going to come out till next year, I would expect, I would probably be going back onto Arc again. And this always happens, because what happens is I play Arc, don't I? And then I take a screenshot and I post it in the WhatsApp group, and Craig's like, that's it. We've lost Alan. He's gone.
What's Alan going to talk about for the next 6 months? Arc.
But I'm not playing it because I've had enough of Arc. I'm waiting for Arc 2 now, and that's it. So I was looking for something to play, and I thought I'd give 7 Days to Die a punt. And I'm really enjoying it again. Put it in. It's a lot. It's not that much different, but there's a lot of extra content. It's been upgraded graphically. It looks a lot
PC
better.
versus Xbox, yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't played the Xbox version for a while. Maybe they have updated it as well. Amazingly, this game has been out on alpha since 2013.
It's still on alpha, is it?
It's still on alpha.
Only the
there's an
survival
issue with-
genre seems to be able to get away with this, not finishing a game for years and years and years.
I know. I don't know with this game. I mean, even Ark was on alpha for about, I don't know, it was on alpha for about 4 years, I think, and beta for a couple. So it's like 6 years, and then it did actually get a release. But this is nearly 10 years on alpha. But it doesn't matter, because the game is it's great fun. There's so much content in there. There's so much stuff to build, and if you've never played 7 Days to Die, the thing about 7 Days to Die is it has all the usual elements: exploring, grinding to craft stuff, leveling up, zombies. The difference with 7 Days to Die is that, first of all, at night time you end up with things called feral zombies. So some of the normal zombies become feral and will chase you down, and sometimes you find them in buildings as well. But the big thing is, and if it's in standard, you can change the interval, but generally every 7 days something that happens that's called a blood moon, and every 7 days it gets harder and harder and harder, and it's essentially a horde mode. So one of the things about, like, you have to build is have to build like an arena, not just your base, but you have to build like an arena so you can fight these hordes of zombies that keep coming to you, and they get more difficult, get more of them every 7 days. This keeps happening, so there's an impetus for you to keep going out, upgrading your kit, making a better base, making a better sort of like area to fight the zombies in, build traps, or you can build like rotor blades and all kinds of electricity style traps, turrets, all sorts of stuff to fight off this horde of zombies every 7 days. And that's really exciting, and it's good fun. It's also multiplayer, so you can play it with your friends if you want. None of you buggers will play it with me, so I'm playing it on my own as
Never
usual.
said that. You never asked.
You're welcome.
But
you can come in.
Destiny's out on Tuesday, so I wouldn't count for next month.
Is it something you bought on PC, or is it Game Pass on PC?
That's Game Pass.
All right. I'll
Again,
download it and give it a go with you.
Yeah,
I always
totally.
find that survival games like that are so much better on the PC generally than console. It's just that it just seems to work quite, because you do a lot of inventory management and things like that. It's a lot easier with a mouse dragging and dropping stuff. I mean, me and Phil had a really good stint on Armour and made a really cool base. Played it for a good sort of month or so, quite regularly on a private server, and that was PC, wasn't it, Phil? And we really enjoyed it.
Arc, you mean, not Armour?
Arc, sorry, Arc, yeah.
Means Arc, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. I mean, Arc on the console had the exact same interface as Arc on the PC. You just moved around with like a thumbstick. I mean, I've done a few sessions on Conan Exiles, and that's the exact same thing. You play it on the PC, the inventory is exactly the same on the console, other than there's a weapon wheel you can pull up when you're running around as your character. But otherwise, like trying to inventory manage.
But it's easier to control. The mouse being able to just click in and out of the inventory makes it so much easier having hotkeys.
Yeah, I'll download that, and maybe one evening I'll jump in and I'll see your amazing base. I do remember on 7 Days to Die when you were playing it on Xbox, you had like a big, almost like a big, a big courtyard thing, and you were like, "Come and look at this!" And went down. It was just building a tunnel all the way to the like nearest sea, and it was miles long.
So I'm building a tunnel again, but it's not for the sake of the tunnel, okay? Just to be clear about this. So when you go to nighttime, unless you're pretty high level and you're pretty experienced, like I said, you go outside, it's just it can be really difficult because all the zombies are running about and they hit you, they can infect you and kill you pretty quickly. So you end up at nighttime doing stuff in your base. Once you've built your base, there's not an awful lot left for you to do. So what you end up doing is mining. That's what the tunnel is all about. I'm mining for resources. And if I'm going to be mining, I want to make it a bit more interesting. So I'm going to mine to that house over there, just to make it a bit more exciting. But it's just to pass the time because of the night element. You can't do what you do in other games where, like even in Project Zomboid, you go to sleep and it like fast forwards through the night. But you can't do that in 7 days because of the night element. You have to you can't fast forward any time.
So you never sleep.
So you never sleep. So you basically have to find something to do at night time that doesn't involve going outside and having to continuously risk your life fighting feral zombies. So that's the reason.
There we go then. There you go. Nice. Awesome stuff. We'll thank you for that, lads. It was nice to find out what you've been up to. We're now going to move on to our talking point and feature for this week. So I was kind of looking...
We definitely need a car for... This is the feature. This is the feature. This is the feature. This is the feature.
And a little flashcard that comes across and covers the whole screen so that people can visually see it when they're on YouTube as well.
Yeah, I'll just do it to cover you, Phil.
Just put it at the bottom of the screen then.
Only joking. I was kind of scanning around. I've been, it's not been a huge amount that's been going on this week. One of the big things we talked about last week. And I think we were kind of that happened just before we were doing the podcast, so we were quite sort of early on that one. But what I did think was something that I'd spotted earlier on in the week is there is a hell of a lot of good TV coming in June and just after June. A hell of a lot of good stuff. So what I thought we'd do is we'd actually do a tier thing, and let's bring it onto here. I'm going to put it so, let's get us on here as well. There we are, look. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through all the stuff that's coming out in June and some bits from just after, and we're going to put them into some categories. So we're going to try and decide. We might not be able to decide, and we'll have to split the difference because we all have different decisions on things. But we've got, definitely going to watch it day one. The next category is, I really want to see it, but I can wait a little bit. If you're watching something else, it's not going to take precedence. You got that. I could take it or leave it. It looks all right. There's also won't sub to that service because obviously these are all across various different streaming services that we don't all have them. And then the final category is no chance. I'm not interested in that whatsoever.
Couldn't give a tiny rat's bottom.
That's it, yeah. So we're going to go through on release order. Okay, so the first one we're going to hit is... sorry, were you going to say something, Phil, there? Oh, sorry, I thought it went... Bip. I thought it was your voice.
I could have just been the broadband cutting out, to be honest with you, mate.
Quite possibly. The first one, on release order, the first one we're going to go through is Stranger Things Season 4, which lands May 27th on Netflix. Now... I see this is a pretty big deal. The first 3 seasons. I think personally for me, the 3 seasons so far have all been absolutely stellar. And I just found out today that the part 2 of Stranger Things, I think it's episode. I think the third from last episode is going to be like an hour long. Or an hour and 10 minutes. Then the second from last is like an hour and a half, and the final episode is going to be 2.5 hours.
Yeah, they said I think it's 9 episodes in total. So the first 7 episodes are being released on May the 27th.
Yeah,
and then the last 2 episodes, which are both feature-length movie episodes, are being released on June the 1st.
Right. July the 1st, is it? Or
June the 1st. June the 1st.
Oh, June the 1st. Oh, right, okay.
So it's literally 1 week. You've got the first 7 episodes.
Oh, I see. Right, I'm with you.
So you've got to watch
a week
2 per day to make sure you get them done in time.
Yeah, but I kind of like that because in one way it's like you're not just going to sit there and binge watch the whole thing, and they do appreciate the fact that those last 2 episodes, that isn't binge watching, that's watching 2 movies in one day. So they're kind of trying to take that into account, and I don't mind that.
Yeah. So right, I mean, I'll put my stake in the ground with that one. That is. It's going to have to be a day 1 in the evening for at least watching the first episode of that one for me. Where are you sitting with that, Alan?
Oh, most definitely. I am an absolute friggin' fan of this series. It's everything. I mean, it is E.T., it is Back to the Future, it's everything about the 80s that I remember from my younger days and love so much. I am so gagging for any bit of information about this. In fact, I believe they've just released 8 minutes of the first episode, which I won't watch because I won't do that. But that just shows how much interest there is in it. There's been 2 mini teaser trailers, one with David was it Hopper?
David Harbour Hopper,
in Russia, and another one with 11 going back to her backstory. I am so excited for this TV series. This is a day 1 for me, no question. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, just on the before I go to Phil, on David Harbour, he's becoming like the Russian gulag actor specialist or something. He was in Black Widow in the gulag, in the gulag. So wicked. Actually, I hope people seen season 3 is supposed to be a bit of a spoiler, probably. So I'm going to put it up here now on day 1, and it's unless Phil disagrees, he's going to have to talk us down from there if he disagrees with us.
Yes and no. I don't disagree. You should watch it on day 1 because you're both massive fans. I probably won't watch it day 1 because I haven't watched season 3 because I watched season 1 and 2.
Oh my god!
Oh my word!
Because it wasn't.
He's off the podcast. Get it moving right now.
Right, my broadband will do that for me. Don't you worry about it. And actually kick me off and just say, "Oh, his broadband's died." What a shame.
Yeah.
Every time you disagree with my comment, must have been his broadband. No, I would definitely leave it as day 1. I will probably. I suppose I've got time to watch season 3 now. Ready? Got nothing else to watch yet.
Mate, 1. It's well worth doing. It's absolutely phenomenal.
I am concerned about it clashing with a certain other program, which I'm sure we will discuss in a moment, though.
Yeah,
and that will take precedent.
So at the minute, then. Yeah, so at the minute then, we're going to leave that up at day 1 until we move on to the next one in that list, which is what Phil's alluding to, which is Obi-Wan Kenobi, comes out on the same day on Disney+. Okay,
now, I'd like to revise my comment. Just move it down to can wait. Come on, we all know the answer. We're going to watch Obi-Wan first.
Yeah, so, where is he? I've completely... there it is. I'm going to move him up here at the moment, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Okay, now... Obviously, that is a day 1 for me, definitely. I cannot wait. And that's 2 episodes. So they're looking at 2 episodes on the 27th. Now, I would almost go to Phil's side and say bring that down to can wait, because I think I want to watch Kenobi more than I want to watch Stranger Things first. 100%. And I think because it's the 2 episodes, I can eat them and then I can move on to...
This is the thing, though. I mean, and I'm pretty much in agreement with this. If I had to pick between the 2 series, I would definitely be watching those first 2 episodes, and I will be watching those first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan first, no question. And I'm not as big a Star Wars fan as you are, and I'm absolutely massively fan of Stranger Things. However, Obi-Wan is 2 episodes, and I'm very excited for it. However, if they're like 35 to 45-minute episodes, which previous Star Wars series have been, then I can easily get them in an hour and a half and then watch another couple of episodes of Stranger Things. So to me, they're both day 1.
I think I'm with you there, mate. Yeah, I reckon we can cram them in day 1. Yeah. Phil is staying up there day 1 on Stranger Things.
Content to consume, you're both.
It's a Friday though,
mate. You can make time for that.
Yeah, it's a Friday. I mean, you get enough sleep when you're dead, my friend. Yeah. I mean, this is quality television. I'm staying up late for this one.
Hell yes. Cool. Right, so that's the first 2 out of the way. I mean, already 2 absolute bangers this is right at the tail end of May. We're not even into June yet. So the next one we've got on the list is The Orville, New Horizons. So this is season 3 of The Orville. Now, I am a huge fan of The Orville. The first season was fantastic, really, really funny. It was almost like a parody of Star Trek. But Now, Seth MacFarlane is a massive Star Trek fan. He even had a cameo in, I think it was Enterprise. Seth MacFarlane was in Enterprise. And what they did with season 2 is they kept the comedy in there, but it became much less of a parody. And it was like watching The Next Generation, but with a bit more comedy in it. And they absolutely nailed it. I felt like I was watching brand new Next Gen episodes, and with a fantastic season arc that finished on such a cliffhanger. And then it's been, I've done even 2.5 years or something since season 2 finished. It's been ages, and I've been chomping at the bit. I am so excited to see this, The Orville. Now, I'm a big fan. I'll move down the list. Alan, what are your thoughts on this one?
So I haven't watched it as much as you, but I have to agree. I've watched about half of the first season, and I need to go back and watch more of it. I think it's fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm thinking that the problem with this one is that it's only going to be available on Hulu.
No, Disney Plus.
Is it going to be on Disney Plus?
Disney Plus, yeah.
Okay, well, I stand corrected.
The first 2 seasons.
Yeah. In which case, I will. I mean, I could wait because I've got some catching up to do. That's not to say I don't think it's a fantastic series. It most definitely is, and I'm already a big fan. I hear that there isn't a series 4 actually planned at the moment, and everybody's been released from their contract for a little bit of background information for you as well on that one. So you might have to wait quite a long while for series 4 as well, because also Seth MacFarlane is currently working on the Ted TV series, so there's that as well. So this might be what you'll get for a while, so it's definitely worth gobbling up, but maybe do you want to consume it really quickly and then have to wait another 3 years for the next lot? But for me, it's a can wait.
Okay, cool, no worry. Phil, on to yourself, mate.
So again, much like you, massive fan of season 1, really enjoyed it, loved where they went with season 2. I didn't watch them when they launched. I watched them later on, and I think it will be the same with this. What was the actual release date again, sorry?
It is the 3rd of June.
Oh, 3rd of June.
And again, it's also very close to Kenobi and Stranger Things, so chances are I'm trying to spend less time binge watching TV in the evenings, particularly as Destiny will be out as well. So chances are it's going to take me a little while to get to the Orville, so for me it's going to go into that. Will watch, but can wait.
Sorry, can we backtrack a bit there? Did you say you're trying to spend less time watching quality television so you can you can play more Destiny?
No, I said less time binge watching television, but what will happen is I will play more Destiny as well, so there will be no time to do it.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that.
Right, and now
I'm a gamer. It's a gaming podcast, bro.
Yeah. The next thing we're going to move into is there's a bit of a running theme here of opposing streaming services releasing things on the same day. So the next one we've got is for Amazon on the 3rd of June, and that is The Boys Season 3. So, I mean, I really love the season 1. I really love season 2. Absolutely fantastic shows. One thing I will say is I need to go back and rewatch season 2 because I can barely remember it. It feels like it's been so long again that I can't really remember what happened. Because I think, again, it just before the pandemic hit. We had The Boys season 2. And then they were going to film it, then it got delayed, and then, and it's been, again, a couple of years, I think. So I need to go back. So for me, it's a can wait. I really want to see it, but I need to watch the second series again. Alan, what about you?
Again, massive fan. I absolutely love this. Not only the fact that you've got all your originals coming back, but apparently Jensen Ackles is going to be in this season as a character called Soldier Boy. He's in the original team before the 7, called Payback, and I'm a massive fan of him. So that makes it even more cooler. But I mean, as if it wasn't cool enough already. A massive fan of this series. I think, again, they're releasing 2 episodes on June the 3rd, and then it's going to be 1 a week. So again, it's a question of kind of, trying to figure out the times and everything else, because I do want to watch this the minute it comes out. I don't want to put it in can wait because I absolutely love this series and the fact that it's so adult. It's a superhero series that isn't for kids, and I'm a big fan of those. I really, really am. So I'm going to put it in day 1.
Nice. So we've got 1 for can wait and 1 for day 1. Phil, what about yourself?
I'm strictly in the can wait for that. I will wait until the whole season has dropped and then watch it in one hit.
Okay.
I'd much prefer that, particularly like we've had a lot of content released quite recently as well gone, and I started watching it week by week with Picard and other things, and then I got to like 5 episodes. I was like, oh, okay, I just want to wait till it finishes. So with this, I'm thinking again, because it's going to overlap with watching other things and playing games, I'm going to just wait till the whole season's out, and I'm just going to power through it over like a weekend probably.
Cool, nice, okay. Yeah, I know you do like, you're just talking about trying not to binge stuff too much, and he's chalking them up.
I'm tactically binging. I'm just queuing them up.
I'm going to cut down on the amount of binges, but I'm going to leave all the episodes of Boys Series 3 so I can binge watch them.
Bloody walking contradiction you are, sir.
Maybe binge isn't the right term, but rather than watching a bit of this and a bit of that and a bit of the other, I'm just going to power through one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Get
nice.
that
Okay, no, that's cool.
Otherwise known as binging.
Right, on to the next one. So we're back to Disney Plus again. On June the 8th, we have Ms. Marvel. Now, this one for me, the only exposure I've had to Ms. Marvel, I think she is the newest superhero to be made in the Marvel universe. And the only exposure I've had is playing as her in the Avengers game. That doesn't do her a lot of justice because I do not like that
It's
game.
a terrible
But she's a pretty cool superhero. Yeah. She's like that kind. I forget the guy in DC. He's like kind of got rubber arms and stuff like that. I forget. Is it plastic? I don't know what his name is.
What Cap? So the from the Fantastic Four.
Well,
like Mr.
no.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I suppose it's similar to Mr. Fantastic. Yeah, but there's a yeah. So basically,
I love the name. I love the name of her power. It's called the Embiggening power.
The Embiggening, is that what it's called?
Yeah,
is it?
yeah. It's brilliant. Embiggening power.
Yeah, and I mean, it's cool. I do want to watch this because it's a Marvel show, and from what I know, she's going to be in a film. I think it's called The Marvels, which is I think going to be her and Captain Marvel as well potentially, but we don't really know much about that yet. So I still want to watch it, but it looks from the trailers, it seems very geared towards teenagers and a younger audience. I don't know how much it's going to appeal to me, but I'm still happy to watch it. I mean, I could take it or leave it, I think is where I want to put it. I'll dip in. If it grabs me in the first couple of episodes, I'll watch it. If it doesn't, I'm happy to leave it. But how about for you, Alan?
For me, again, the same as you. I really love anything and everything Marvel, and I want to see it as soon as I possibly can. I'm very intrigued by the trailer. I enjoyed the trailer, and I thought it looked quite fun and quite interesting.
Yeah.
Good, interesting, different type of character, and I can see what they're trying to do. But again, I think for me, I can wait. If there's a lot going on, I wouldn't be disappointed if I had to wait a few weeks to watch it. But I am interested, very much so.
So you're thinking take it or leave it as well?
I'm going to say can wait.
Can wait. Okay, so we've got one for can wait, one for take it or leave it. And for yourself, Phil?
Oh, I'm not really interested either way. Like, I haven't watched the trailer. I don't know anything about Miss Marvel. Based on what you guys have said, I'll probably watch it, but it's going to be high up on my priority list.
So we're going to sit it in the middle there, shall we?
I mean, that's going to be a take it or leave it for me. I'm not particularly interested in watching it. I made that mistake with something on, I think it was Amazon. It was like Stargirl or something it was called.
Oh, yeah.
That was very... it gives me those kind of vibes. Like you said, it's a very like teenage kind of aspect. I tried to watch that and I got about 3 episodes in because I thought, God, it's attractive. I was like, oh, this is a bit...
Yeah.
Boss, okay. Next.
No worries, cool. Well, I mean, this is a list for, just combine us all together. We need to put it in as fair a place as we can, and there's going to be things that we disagree with. And I think this next one is going to be one that's going to divide a bit because I absolutely love it. And I don't think either of you boys have actually watched it, which is on the 10th of June on Apple TV Plus, is For All Mankind. Now, this show, for people who haven't seen it, and I don't think it's got as wide a reach as things on Netflix and Amazon do because it doesn't have as many subscribers on Apple TV Plus. It's a bit more niche. The thing with Apple TV Plus is there's less content, but everything is fantastic. It's all top quality content. They have the best writers, the best directors, the best actors. They just do some really great work on there. And For All Mankind is written by, it's completely slipped my mind now, I've forgotten his name. He's one of the lead writers on Battlestar Galactica and Star Trek and stuff like that.
Braga?
Sorry?
Alan Braga?
No. Rupert? Something Robert? It doesn't matter. I'll have to think. Yeah, I can't remember what his name is now. But anyway, basically, the basis of this series is about the space race. So it's set back in the 60s, the first landing on the moon, but it's an alternate history where instead of America being the first people to land on the moon, it is the Soviet Union, and it sends the world on a completely different trajectory where America don't stop the funding to kind of moving to the moon. They get to the point where they want to build moon bases, and there's a proper space race, almost becoming like a space war, if you like. And it spans across decades. So it starts in the 60s. And at the point now when season 3 lands, we'll be moving into the 90s and probably then into the 2000s. So it's really starting to catch up. And all the technology in it, although it's real great science fiction, the technology is really believable. And it's just like NASA tech. It's like, as they called Starfield, NASA Punk. Yeah. So, you've got the similar kind of rockets to what you'd see going up in the 90s and 80s and 90s, but they're like nuclear powered and stuff, and they've got move. It's absolutely fantastic. It's a great cast. It's brilliant stories, great special effects, and it's top tier for me. And I will be day one on that one because I cannot wait for it. Alan.
So the writer is Ronald D. Moore.
Ronald D. Moore, that's it. Yes.
Yeah.
Remember how you commented about my uber loud keyboard? Now we can say that about Alan.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the absolutely awful keyboard I hate that Craig recommended to me.
Oh.
But anyway, I'm looking to replace it. But the keys are too heavy for my taste. But anyway, going on to For All Mankind, it's not that I don't like the look of the series. I most definitely do. I love the everything that you've just talked about. I love the fact that they jump from series to series. I believe that they're up to. I did write them down, but the dates starts. The first series is 1969 to 1973. Series 2 is in 1983, 10 years later, and Series 3 is in 1995, which starts with the colonization of Mars. So you see some reoccurring characters who are getting older as each series goes along by significant amounts, by 10, 20, 30 years. It's a fantastic premise, and I really love the idea. However, I'm going to take it for won't sub to service because I'm not going to pay out for Apple TV on top of the other subscription services I already have. I'd love to watch Foundation as well. That's also only available on Apple TV. So until we get maybe enough on there where I could perhaps buy it for a couple of months and binge watch everything it has to offer and then cancel, at the moment I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah. And this is where I thought it was going. And I'm going to suspect it's going to be similar from Phil, but I don't know. I was far away.
You're absolutely right, it is. Because I had Apple TV and then stopped subscribing to it after Foundation finished. And you said you should watch For All Mankind, you'll love it. And I never resubbed up to watch it.
Yeah.
So very much it's, again, I love what you've described there. Like, when you describe it, I'm like, you know what, that would be pretty cool. Particularly, like, I love the idea of that NASA punk and that very grounded technology aspect of it. Like, I can picture it in my mind. I was like, oh, that would be really cool. But I'm just not going to pay £5 a month for it because there's just not enough on there at the moment.
Totally get that. Yeah, I just really want to add that caveat. If anybody does have Apple TV Plus, watch it. Absolutely watch it. It's phenomenal. It's fantastic. It was one of those, and it's a chunky series. They're good hour-long episodes. It's like, it's like a good HBO show, like Game of Thrones level of great storytelling, great early Game of Thrones, that kind of great stuff where you get to the end of episodes and I'm thinking, oh my God, it's nearly 1 o'clock in the morning, but I really want to watch another one. And I'm really battling to think, can I make it? Can I get up in the morning? If I stay up till 2 in the morning on a school night just to watch another one, it's just one of those shows. So yeah, definitely watch it if you've got the sub. Cool. Right, moving on to the next one, which was a bit of a surprise to me. I didn't realise it was coming until I did my research today, which we're moving back to Netflix again, and it's June the 22nd, and this is Umbrella Academy Season 3. So I'm going to switch it around a little bit. Alan, you go first. Season 3 of Umbrella Academy.
God, I love the Umbrella Academy. I absolutely love this series. My God, it is such a good time to have all these series coming out and to have these subscription services. I mean, I have Netflix, Prime, and Disney Plus, and I mean, while that's probably too many, my wife would say, there's so many programs coming out on all of those services. It's just phenomenally good value for money. But going back to the Umbrella Umbrella Academy. It's so different again. It's so out there. It's so standing in its own spaces in the superhero genre. There's nothing for me that's quite like the Umbrella Academy. It's so quirky and so does its own thing. You know, when one of the main characters is like a character that's so old they don't even know his age, but he actually appears to be a 13-year-old boy, dressed in a school uniform, and he can basically teleport and do anything through time and space. It's like, oh, wow. Wow, it's just everything. And you know, I found a very interesting fact about this TV series. It's written by the lead singer of My Chemical Romance.
No, really?
Yes, it is written by, I've got it written down here, Gerard Way. He's the lead singer for My Chemical Romance, which incidentally, my wife Ellie is currently in Milton Keynes watching them live right now. But he wrote this. Yeah, I know. But he wrote the Umbrella Academy for the original comic book.
Wow.
That's amazing. I didn't know that. I'm going to tell her
awesome.
when she gets home because I found it after she'd left. But that I cannot, day one. Day one, no question. No question for me. Absolutely.
Mr. Phil, how about yourself? So we're going to move up there for now.
Not a chance. Not interested in the slightest. Couldn't even finish the first season. Hated all the characters. Hated the layout of it. No interest. Found the story was completely unengaging and boring. I didn't like any of it. And I would not watch season 3. I didn't watch season 2. I didn't finish season 1. And I'm definitely not going to watch that. Not interested at all. Hated all of the characters.
Oh my God.
Honestly, I couldn't stand it.
Wow. Are you the Umbrella? Are you sure you were talking about the same thing?
Yeah, Umbrella Academy. I started watching it. I was like, okay, seems interesting. Didn't like where the story was going.
Wow.
Wasn't interested in any of the characters. Particularly hated the 13-year-old kid who could be 100 years old. Found him really annoying.
So we've gone from day one to no chance. So the decider comes down to me. This show is top tier sci-fi, fantastically written, brilliant special effects, great characters, amazing cliffhanger at the end of the second season as well. Cannot wait to find out more about it. This is absolutely banging. It's going back up there, Phil. You are the minority on this one, I'm afraid. And if I'm honest, I've lost a little bit of respect for you as well. No, everyone's got their opinion.
It. Can't disagree.
I mean, totally. Everybody's got their opinion. It's just a shame that Phil's is wrong.
Yeah. And it is, that is,
I haven't heard that joke before.
That is the thing, isn't it? You get certain things where, it's like, well, Red Dead, exactly, it's another one. You don't, it just didn't grab you, and it's, critically acclaimed. Most people love it, but it's not everybody's the same.
As you pointed out, that's Ghost of Tsushima for you, as it turns out.
Yeah, not to quite the degree, but yeah, it's exactly. Everybody's got their own taste, and it doesn't grab you the same type way. Anime is a great one. Most of the time, I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Destiny.
There you go. You see, something that we absolutely love, and Alan just can't stand it. So everyone has their own thing. But yeah, luckily.
But really, the Umbrella Academy, Phil. What's wrong with you?
This is a democratic process, and the voting has commenced.
I'd like to say I'll try and give it another go, but I doubt I will.
No, if you don't like it, you don't like it. It's fair enough.
So just how far in did you get? Sorry, a couple of episodes.
I watched 4 episodes, I think.
You give it a good go then.
I got to the point where the crackhead was walking around in his dressing gown in the living room, and the singer had come back, and I was like,
"Yeah,
this is going nowhere as far as I can tell." Oh, and the hairy dude.
I think you should at least give the whole of season 1 at least a bit of a punt, my friend. You might be missing out, but it's up to you. I'm not going to force it.
Yeah. But that's the thing, is that there's so much stuff that's out there that's great. That actually you can afford to tip off.
I'll watch For All Mankind before I go back and watch Umbrella Academy. So looking at that, there is currently 6 other things I'm going to watch ahead of that.
Yeah. Just to add in here, Ryan's just put, still haven't recovered from sulfate. Phil saying does this likes Red Dead.
Me neither.
I want to clarify this point. I don't dislike Red Dead. I dislike Cowboys and Indians. Therefore, I've never given it a chance.
Vis-a-vis, you dislike Red Dead.
Sure, okay.
And you don't like Cowboys and Indians. I mean, what? What did you do when you were growing up?
Anyway, well, to be fair, he isn't 70.
Cowboys and Indians.
Really?
Anyway, right, we're going to move on from here. So, right, what we've got, we're still in June here, but I'm going to mix it up a little bit because we're still going by date order. So Paramount TV, Paramount Plus, is launching in the UK on June the 22nd. So the same day as Umbrella Academy lands. Very funny, this. It's almost like they know what's going on in their little market, doesn't it? So what they're doing is they're launching with both Halo and Star Trek Strange New Worlds on day one. So the thing with this one is, obviously, none of us subscribe to this moment because you can't. And they're two pretty big shows. So I'm really interested to see what happens here. And I'm going to buck the trend. I'm going to go, Phil, you're going to go first on this one.
So Paramount Plus for both shows, or
well, let's do both shows. Let's just do both shows in one hit because it's land on Paramount. Because we could just end up this won't sub to service. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not even here yet.
Oh, unquestionably, I'm subbing to that service when it comes out. I can't wait for that Star Trek Strange
New Worlds.
Strange New Worlds.
Oh god, it just I'd love, is it Captain Pike, isn't it? Is in charge of the
Enterprise. Anton Mount.
I love that guy. He's amazing as an actor, and he looks so good as Captain Pike. I'd seen some trailers of it, which I think they dropped maybe last year, or maybe it's more recent than that. But the trailers look fantastic, so I'm so excited to watch Star Trek. Halo, I've been a bit cheeky. I've managed to watch a couple of episodes through illicit means. That's all I'm going to say. I'm struggling to recommend it. It's a lot. Do you know, I think maybe it's lower budget than I expected, I think is the first thing. And the second thing with Halo, I'm not sure. I'm not seeing where they're going. Like, it's almost like they've taken the idea of the Master Chief and then they've just gone, well, this is what we think the Master Chief is, and gone off on their own tangent completely. They've gone, right turn, Clyde, and they've lamped the bloke in the car next to him and then driven off. That's what it feels like. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I've watched a couple of episodes. They were quite good. There's some decent action bits in there. I'm really struggling to recommend it to you as Halo fans. I'm struggling to recommend it because it is a proper right turn Clyde on that sense. So I think I would very much say you need to watch the first episode, and I've no doubt you're both going to be 100% with me on Strange New Worlds, so you're going to have access to it. I will be interested to see what your opinions of it are.
Yeah.
I was excited to go into it, and I now feel a bit deflated over it.
So take it or leave it?
I'd say it's very much a take it or leave it, yeah.
Okay, definitely. Cool. Yeah, sounds good. Okay. So Strange New Worlds has been getting absolutely rave reviews. Like, they're saying it is the first time we've truly gone back to Star Trek since Next Gen. You know, it's like, it's proper Star Trek again, which really, really excites me. Halo, I'm very much, a lot of what I'm reading on it, quite disappointed. It's not the Halo show that we wanted. I'm sure it'll be good in certain ways, but they've very much gone their own directions. It's its own lore, just kind of, it's almost like it's based on Halo that we know.
They said it's like the silver timeline, apparently.
Yes, that's
is what
it.
They've done. That's how they get out of jail free card, apparently.
Yeah, so, but I'm also teetering on whether I would actually sub to the service. Now, Halo wouldn't make me sub to the service, to be honest, from the reviews that's coming. It would be I won't sub. But Strange New Worlds is something I'm really interested in. The only thing is, looking at the timeline, is we've got Umbrella Academy that's landing there. So I think at some point I would sub to the service for a month to watch Strange New Worlds if it comes. And I think I'd have to wait until it's all out so I can do it in 1 month, because there's just not going to be enough on there for me to want to sub. So that's for me. I
didn't realise that was week by week, is it?
I would imagine it will be, yeah. Because they'll do a week by week.
You can
put it on won't sub.
Out.
Okay.
No. I'll wait till it's all out and then I'll sub up for it.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I might be
camera.
wrong, but generally, I think they're going to do that because they're not going to have a huge amount of content initially, and they'll want people to sub up for 10 weeks, won't they? Rather than just binge everything in one hit.
I mean, won't they pull back all of the other Star Trek content though? Because Discovery's going on there, isn't it? Because that came off Netflix.
I'm sure they will. But this is new content, isn't it? This is stuff you launch a platform with. These are the big things that they shout about. So it's I think for me it's a won't sub to service for both of them. I think on those two. Alan, tough one for Alan. This is.
As I've said before, I'm a massive Star Trek fan, and I have been for most of my adult life. I love Star Trek, no matter how crap it is. Some of it's been crap. I still love it. I absolutely am gagging at the bit to watch Strange New Worlds. I also a little bit hate Paramount because they're not the best company in the world when it comes to serving their customers. And this new thing about bringing out Paramount Plus and taking Discovery off of Netflix, and therefore insisting that people who've already become involved in the series, like me, despite all the naysayers and the trekkers who go, it's rubbish, it's not Star Trek, yeah, which is exactly what they sound like to me. And they removed it and just shoved it onto a service that I can't access. And that is really doing me a disservice because I don't even live in America. So it's out, the new season of Discovery, and I haven't been able to watch it. And it just feels like they just went, up yours as a customer, well done, we don't care. You have to wait till June the 22nd, 2022, until we bring out a service that you can pay us extra to watch our content. And I get from a business point of view, but it does niggle me a little bit, I'm not going to lie. And I really don't want to give them my money. But after everything is said and done, I've heard such good things about Strange New Worlds. It sounds so good, and I so want to watch it. I really, really do. And I really want to watch the last season of Discovery, which I still haven't watched, because that's apparently very good and has got better if you're a fan of it. Halo, I can take or leave, to be honest. I think unless it's the Blomkamp one, the bits and bobs they did years ago, which were freaking amazing, I'm not interested. I've heard very mixed reviews about the content for the Halo series. I'll watch it one day, but as far as being worried to watch it, not at all. Couldn't care less. If I watch it, I do. I don't care. So I'm going to say won't sub to service.
Yeah, I think that's where we need to land it. I think.
I thought you'd split the difference and say can wait.
No, I can't. I just can't. I mean, I kind of agree with your take on it. Maybe 6 months from after that, when maybe the whole of Strange New Worlds is on, and there's something else on there, and I can sub for a month or maybe just 2 months and binge everything and watch it and go, thanks very much, cancel the subscription and wait till they bother to bring out the next seasons, the next season of Strange and the next season of Discovery comes out, and then do the same thing rather than pay for a service that's, quite frankly, most of their Star Trek series I own and I have upstairs, so it doesn't get, there's no extra content for me. You know, I'd even buy Discovery and give Paramount money that way if it wasn't the fact they won't release it on DVD, Craig. But I would buy it on old-fashioned discs to put into a player and watch.
I wonder if they released it on VHS.
Oh, yeah,
mate, at least
8-bit.
Blu-ray.
I want it on 8-bit. That's what I want it on, or vinyl. But anyway, no. But I would pay money so I could watch it. But unfortunately, you can't buy it because they haven't released it either, because they now have this streaming service and they want you to pay for that. And that niggles me. It annoys me a little bit. I don't think Paramount are doing their customers a great service. I don't want to give them any of my money. So that's a won't sub.
Yeah.
As much as I want to watch it because it looks so good.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think you were right on that one. Yeah, that's yeah. But who knows? There might be a free trial. Who knows at the start of it? You know, might be able to sign up for 7 days and power through it. You know, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Take a week off work.
Yeah. Right.
No, honestly, boss, I've got a very important meeting for the week.
Yeah.
I've got it's set in the 22nd century. I've got to go.
It's a strange meeting. Yeah. Some would say it's a whole new world going to open to me, but I'm going to it.
I'm just going to say, live long and prosper.
Yeah.
Let's be fair, it's not going to take you a week to binge through that, mate.
Yeah.
Like if it takes you a day.
So, next one we're going to go to is still in June again. So, this is June 27th. And this one's on Sky Atlantic, which is Westworld, Season 4. So, I'm going to start the ball rolling on this one. I watched Season 1. I watched Season 2. Got quite bored of Season 2 and never went back for Season 3. So, and I don't have Sky anymore. So, that's going in there for me. Alan.
I watched Season 1. Some of the best television and best writing and best acting I have ever seen in a TV series. Everything from the opening credits to everything that happens in this entire series, absolutely bang on, phenomenal. I couldn't wait for every episode. I sat there every week going, oh my God, this is so good television. Watched Season 2, was extremely disappointed by how subpar it was in comparison to number 1, and how it just confused me with alternate timelines with Bernard in every single timeline, so I never knew where they were. So it's just so confusing and just boring. And then they went to season 3, and I thought it's got to get better. And they completely left the park altogether and went into the real one. I'm like, isn't this supposed to be called Westworld? Where's the Westworld? And absolutely so disappointed with the direction the story has taken in a war against mankind.
Wasn't Aaron Paul in season 3?
He's in season 3. He turns up, and he's now confirmed for season 4 as well. I couldn't be less interested if I tried. I'm so disappointed in the fact that they apparently had a 4-season story arc and never at one point thought maybe we should make it about Westworld after the first season, which it really isn't. So no thanks.
Is it a no chance then?
No chance for me.
Yeah.
No chance.
Right. Phil?
No.
There was a season 3. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Season 1, fantastic. Tandy Newton's boobs, fantastic. I couldn't even tell you what happened in season 2. I think I watched it, and I think I got bored.
I tell you what, there were no Tandy Newton's boobs. They weren't in season 2.
Probably why I turned it off then. Let's be honest. Yeah, I think I watched season 2. I'm 100% sure I got bored of it and stopped watching it. So yeah, it's a no chance for me. I haven't even watched season 3. I'm not going to watch.
Written by Christopher Nolan, I believe.
I'm not even going to argue with you, but yeah, written by Christopher
Nolan on that one, didn't he?
Yeah.
What, just season? All of it?
No. Let me just double check. I've got my notes here. Where are we?
I thought it was Jonathan Nolan, his brother, that wrote it.
Could be Jonathan Nolan.
I might be wrong, but
No, you
no
could be right.
with that.
No, I haven't actually written it down. But either way, I'm not a fan of the Nolans either way. So
yeah. So right, what we're going to that's June, but I mean, what? Wow, that's a lot of TV and a lot of really. If you're a sci-fi fan, what an awesome sci-fi TV for 1 month.
That's
what
amazing.
I wanted to do was I've got a few sort of like hot picks for the the kind of the months to come over August and September, just because July, August, September, sorry, just because there was a couple in that I thought we've got to kind of talk about as we're doing it. So the first one is July the 14th, which is the Resident Evil Netflix show. So Alan, what do you think? Where's that sitting for you?
I love everything zombie. I've already said I've watched all the Resident Evil movies, and as they get degradingly worse and bad as they go on, I still love them. I absolutely love those movies, no matter sometimes they make they're complete nonsense and they're absolutely stupid. Normally I would criticise these type of films, but I love them because they're zombies and they got monsters, and I absolutely love it. And I've watched the trailer. It's got Lance Reddick in it. That's immediately puts it up here for me. Immediately. I mean, yes, exactly. I mean, anything he's in, whether it be John Wick, Destiny, or apparently Resident Evil, the man is a consummate professional actor, and we love him. So
let's get Alan on Destiny.
Yeah. Immediately, I'm like, I've got to watch this. And I watched it, and it sounds very interesting. They're talking about it being in 2 timelines. The first in Raccoon City with the 2 daughters, supposedly, of Albert Wesker, played by Lance Reddick. And then it moves forward something like 15, 20 years, and like one of the sisters has grown up, and it's now the apocalypse. I love this scenario. It sounds interesting. It sounds unusual. It sounds different. And I love the universe of Resident Evil. Personally, I can't wait for this. It's on Netflix. It's going to be a day one for me.
Okay, day one for Alan. Mr. Phil.
I'm in exactly the same boat as Alan. I love the Resident Evil movies. I know the last 5 are terrible of the 7.
Yeah.
I know they're bad, and I know they tried to fix it by wheeling in characters that we know and love from the games, and it didn't work.
It's still
bad. I've watched the animated movies, and they're definitely better than the live action ones. And they did that other series as well that they recently put on Netflix that was also pretty terrible, to be honest with you. But it's Resident Evil, so I still loved it. I love the games, and I'm definitely going to watch this on day one. There's other things in there. Is it Kayla Scuderia or something? The one that was from Skins is in it as well.
Her name's Kayla Scuderia. She's named after a Ferrari.
Scudelaria or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, anyway, she's in it, and I was like, I'm going to watch it for that.
Okay, so it's a diplomatic process, like we say. It's not a chance in hell I'm watching this. Like, out of the 7 movies, there's been 7 bad movies from what I hear, because I watched the 2 good ones and they were shite. So, in my opinion.
It's just like me and Cowboys.
There you go. Yeah, that would have been a better reference, wouldn't it? There we go. So, but no, we're sitting in day one. You boys are excited for it, and if you're a Resident Evil fan, I'm sure it's going to be good. So, awesome. The next one we've got...
We're still going to love it, so it doesn't matter.
Sorry?
That's how it works. if you're a Resident Evil fan, even if it's terrible, we'll still love it.
That's
Well,
true.
everything
It's
Resident
true.
Evil is terrible.
Yeah.
So
we're going to love it.
The games are awful. The films are terrible. We love it.
Yeah,
Love them.
yeah.
Love them all.
So right, next one. So moving on to August the 17th on Disney Plus, we have She-Hulk. So this is a new one. Trailers only recently dropped on this one. Some really cool little things in there. I know a lot of people are kind of complaining about some of the CGI. I mean, I didn't really see that. It's, I don't. It seemed pretty decent to me. There was some nice kind of callbacks. You had Tim Roth in there, which is great as Abomination from the original.
Love that.
Yeah. From the Incredible Hulk film, which was absolutely awesome. And you also see a bit of a tie in there. You see the room. Well, it's a bit of a spoiler. Not really a spoiler if you haven't seen Shang-Chi, but you need to see Shang-Chi because it's a cool movie. There's a point in there where you've got Abomination and Wong. Wong opens a portal and you see this weird kind of cage thing they walk through, and it's the cage from She-Hulk. So it's a cool little tie into the movies as well. So I'm really looking forward to this. I mean, it's day one. I can't wait. For me, I'm going to sit it up there first. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Will I necessarily be jumping on it day one? No. If I have to wait till the weekend for it, fair enough. But I'm excited. Mr. Allen.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat. Can't wait. I mean, I only watched the trailer a couple of days ago, and I was quite impressed. I don't know an awful lot about the character, but I love the fact that the Hulk is in it as the kind of like intelligent Hulk is in it. So from the Avengers sort of timeline. So I like that. I love the fact that they're bringing back Tim Roth as Abomination from the Incredible Hulk. That is a fantastic move for me. Yeah. The movie was awful. No offense to Edward Norton, and the CGI was awful on the Abomination and both the Hulk. So that I'd like to see the Abomination in this series hopefully be a bit better. But apparently, from what you said, it's not. But I didn't notice myself. And I love the fact that Benedict Wong is in it as Sorcerer Supreme Wong again. He's just wonderful. I'm very excited. And again, it's Disney Plus. It's a no-brainer. I'm already subscribed. It's a can't wait. Not necessarily a day one, but it's a can't wait. I'm looking forward to it immensely.
Excellent. Mr. Phil.
Oh, I'm in the same boat as you boys. I'm subscribed to Disney Plus, so I'm going to watch it when it launches. I'm not so much interested in the character, but how it ties into the existing Marvel universe, like the fact that it overlaps with Shang-Chi and bits like that. And I do, again, like you guys, I like the fact they're bringing back Tim Roth. I like the fact that it's got Mark Ruffalo in as the Intelligent Hulk. So I'm very much interested in seeing how it slots into the Marvel universe and where they go with it. I'm not so interested in She-Hulk as a character, but I'm hoping it'll be like it. Oh, go on, Alan. Sorry.
No, please, Karen. It was your spot.
I was going to say, I'm hoping it's kind of like every other Marvel series that's appeared on there, where I've gone, that's a bit strange. I've gone, this is brilliant. Like I hope it does a WandaVision to me, where I sit there scratching my head for the first two episodes. By the time I get to the third episode, I can't wait to watch the next one. Yeah. And I'm sure that's what will probably happen with it.
I say what I do know about the character is the fact that it's based on it's Bruce Banner's cousin Jennifer Walters, and she needs a blood transfusion, and Mark Ruffalo, the Bruce Banner, has to give it to her, and that's why she gets his powers. But she doesn't Hulk out quite as much as he does. She just gets quite a bigger and a bit musclier, but not like big Hulk. So when she's green, obviously. But she's also a lawyer, so I get the feeling that there's from the stories that were told, there's this element of her trying. It's about her trying to actually still have a normal life as a lawyer whilst having this thing where she kind of ends up turning into this She-Hulk and doing faulting, almost like the series of the Hulk in the 70s. Yeah. And this is what I find interesting. I think if they go for that approach, it could be a little bit different from series that we've had before in the Marvel. And I agree with what Phil said. That's what I've liked about series like WandaVision and some of the ones like Loki that have come out on Disney Plus, where they've gone for a little bit of a different approach. And it's still in the same universe, but they want to do something a little different. And I'm hoping they do this for She-Hulk. And from what I've read so far, it sounds like they might be. So that's what makes me interested.
I think building on what you've said there, I think almost going like a step further and having it, because all of the seasons are all this, they are a big 6-episode story arc, aren't they? wonder if they would do this and have a episode of the week type thing.
That would be so good.
A case a week, and kind of really, because they do, like you say, they do all these different genres, don't they? They have different settings for all different films and things like that. That would be really, really cool. And it's that one you could watch each episode just literally stand alone, and it wouldn't matter. Maybe one sort of light overarching story, but that would be really.
I think
cool.
something like Strange New Worlds is showing the the producers in Hollywood that actually there's still a very high demand for a TV series that does a show of the week. We're all about this overarching storyline these days, but you see the success in the way even all the Star Trek fans that hate everything that's Star Trek that comes out these days, and then Strange New Worlds comes out and it's back in the episodic formula of Next Generation, and they're all like, "This is amazing, we love it." Maybe they take note of that and they apply it to things like She-Hulk. I would love that, a 12 to 24 episode run where each week she takes on a case and it ends up with maybe having to fight somebody or to take on some gangsters or I don't know something. It would be really
Proper
fun.
cheese.
Something, a bit different. Back to the 1980s and the 1990s. I'm all for that.
That'd be cool.
It's
Right,
really
good
like,
stuff.
Supernatural did Monster of the Week, so I can very much see that works really well for that with the overarching backstory. So I'd like to see something like that, definitely.
Yeah. So, moving on to the next one then. I'm going to go to Phil first on this one. So, August 22nd on Sky Atlantic, we have House of the Dragon, which is the Game of Thrones prequel. With Matt Smith, I believe. Matt Smith from Doctor Who, and other things, obviously, in it. From what I've seen, looks pretty good. What do you think, Phil?
I'll be honest, I've done almost no research on this at all, and I was very late to the Game of Thrones game.
You were. I almost forced you to watch it.
You did, and I thank you eternally for that, because it was so very much worth my time and effort to watch through that. So, based on how much I loved Game of Thrones, on your recommendation, I've no doubt I will absolutely love this. So it's probably going to be a day one for me. What was it released on? What was it released on?
Sky.
Oh no, I'm not going to sub to it for that. No, I'll just wait till it goes to another service. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. No, that's fine. That's fine. Alan.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of what was it? I forgot what it's called now. I've got a mind blank. Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. Absolutely massive fan of Game of Thrones. And I get what people say. I do see that that after the fourth season they start to conform a little bit more to what people wanted, and characters were less likely to be killed off. And the last series isn't as good. They rushed it and blah 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 blah. That still doesn't mean the long night. That episode in the middle is still for me one of the most amazing episodes of television I've ever watched from any series ever. I watch it on a regular basis. Too dark. It's set at nighttime, you mumpters, you idiots.
Battle of the Bastards as well. What a
Battle of There's so many moments. The Red Wedding. I mean, there are so many moments where you're just sat there going, oh my God, it's such good television. And yes, it misses some, but in the first 4 seasons, it was exemplary. It was the best television ever. And this is the first season of this series with a huge amount of expectation, but also some really solid actors in it. Emma Darcy, Matt Smith, Rhys Ifans, Paddy Considine, some really big names who've done a lot of this acting, and we've already got some of this history in place. So I'm so excited to see it, but I ain't subbing to Sky or HBO. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. I've already explained why. It's not happening. It won't sub to service.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, one thing I will say on this is I would normally be in the same house, pretty much mirror exactly what you've said, Alan. I'm really excited for it, really want to see it, but I wouldn't sub to it. However, my mum is a massive Game of Thrones fan. She's watched Game of Thrones, the entire thing, probably 4 times now. She has it on Blu-ray. That's right, my mum uses Blu-ray, Alan. Not DVD.
I love my DVD box sets. They're lovely.
So anyway,
antiquated.
So she's
they all fold out. They all fold out with nice pictures.
So do the Blu-rays and the 4Ks, Alan. They're just modern technology.
Come into the real world. Come follow. Anyway, my mum's a massive fan, and she does have Sky. So I'm going to be going around there to watch it with her. So, obviously, we're going to leave it in Won't Sub to Service because you guys are stuck there. Unless, Phil, you want to come round and watch it round with me and my mum, you're more than welcome to come round.
I can be down there in an hour and 20 minutes.
Brilliant. So, right, day one, round Craig's mum's house.
Yeah, pick me up on the way.
Hello, Mrs. Larson. We've never met before, but...
I'll just send her this episode and say this is something around about an hour and 48 minutes you should probably know about. No, we'll leave it in Won't Sub to Service as it is there. And then last but certainly not least, and I am going to go to Alan first on this one, on the 2nd of September, we have The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power on Amazon.
Well, I mean, there's no question. It's got to go straight to No Chance.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Let's not be silly, hey?
I mean, my wife said to me as she left this evening, because we were having this conversation, so Ellie and I were talking about this pod and everything coming up, and I mentioned the Rings of Power. And she said, "Oh, you said you didn't like it very much." I said, "That's not strictly true. What I said was I watched the trailer and I was apprehensive." It's the same thing, right? So when, I'm sorry if I'm going to take a bit of time here, right? But I've told you before, when I first heard Lord of the Rings was being made into a TV series decades ago, I was like, there's no way. I'd been reading Lord of the Rings since I was like 13 years old. And I was like, there's no way they can make this story into films and give it the justice it deserves. And then that first trailer came out and it had the Fellowship coming over the hill. And I just sat there and went, oh my god!
Romance explosion.
Each one of those characters looks exactly like I imagined them from the book. That looks and everything. And then I watched them every year. I went and watched the next film, and I have all the special editions. I know they're on DVD. I'm going to get them on Blu-ray eventually. But
okay, we've moved on
whatever.
From Blu-ray, Alan.
But anyway, the point is, it's expensive. They cost enough to buy in the first place. But anyway, I absolutely love these things. And then they said, we're now going to make The Hobbit. And I went, you know what? I was reading The Hobbit before I was reading Lord of the Rings. I'm so excited about this. This is going to be amazing. And then they said, oh, we're going to make it a trilogy. And I went, huh? A trilogy? Really? Okay, I don't see how they can do that. I mean, it's a kid's film, really. It's not like Lord of the Rings, which is more adult. It's a kid's book. But okay, I'll give it the credit. Let's see whether they're doing it. And it's not bad. It's certainly not bad. But you can clearly see the studios went to Peter Jackson and said, we need another Lord of the Rings. Put enough content in it. Flesh it out. Stretch it as much as you can. Put loads of stuff that's got nothing to do with the book in it to flesh it out in the world and make it much longer. And you know what it did? It just made it crapper. It was good, but it ain't brilliant. It is no way up there with Lord of the Rings for me. So when I saw the trailer for The Rings of Power, I was kind of like, yeah, it looks really good, but I'm a little bit trepidatious here. I've been burnt once before. But it is based on the Silmarillion. It's based on 5,000 years before Lord of the Rings. So there's a lot of stuff they can do with this. Amazon have put a ridiculous amount of money into this. $500 million into making this, more than $500 million.
That's doing it justice, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? A series like that, it's
So I've got to think that it's going to be good. It's coming out on Prime. It's day one, no question. Absolutely no question. But I'm a little bit cautious.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go next, and because I'm going to be quick with this. It's day one for me. I cannot wait to see what they're going to deliver with this. Sticking that much money behind it, such a great amount of lore behind it. I mean, it's just one of the greatest things ever, isn't it, Lord of the Rings? The only thing I will say about the trailer is the music was really weird that they played through the trailer.
It does. It seemed a bit cutesy. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
It felt a bit never-ending story. It felt a little bit the colour they've got over it. That's why I'm worried, because it doesn't seem like it had the Lord of the Rings feel to it. It felt more like something a bit more children-orientated, and I don't like that. But we'll see.
We'll see. Mr. Phil, would you disagree with that?
I can't disagree with a single word you boys have said. It's 100% day one. I watched the trailer again. I was like, this looks brilliant. I didn't know what was wrong with it until you pointed out, and now I think about it, it's the music. Like, I looked at it, I was like, I'm still going to watch it. Well, I mean, it could have been a steaming turd came over the hill on, and the old dwarfs were carrying it on a stick or something like that. I'd still watch it. So, it's Lord of the Rings, isn't it? But
yeah, no, good stuff.
I'm sure it will be good. They spent a lot of money on it. Like, they can't fuck it up, can they?
Oh, they can fuck it up.
Well done. Well done, Phil. You've done it now, Phil. We're going to blame you if it's rubbish now.
No, It's
Cool, good stuff. Well, that's
But
all
it doesn't
those
have
movies.
Gandalf in it. Sorry, but it doesn't have Gandalf in it, so it's immediately less. But we'll see.
Yeah. So, what we've got here, day one, we're saying Stranger Things, Kenobi, Umbrella Academy, Resident Evil, and Rings of Power. We can't wait for The Orville, The Boys, and She-Hulk. Take it or leave it with Miss Marvel. As a whole, would say we won't sub to the service of Apple TV Plus, Sky Atlantic, or Paramount Plus. And Westworld got a big fat no chance. So that is your official, without Ratley's input, but we're going to have to say, he's got the week off. So the official, but without Ratley, standing for our TV shows of June and slightly beyond. So that was pretty awesome, guys. I really enjoyed going through that. How about you?
I still want to watch Strange New Worlds. They look so good, but I can't.
Telling you, he's going to sub up to that. He's going to get there, and it's going to be sitting there, and they're going to be running adverts for it on something else he's watching, and he's going to be like,
if it dropped and everybody went, it's all right, it's not very good, I would have been like, oh, thank God for that. I would have been like, oh my God. But it dropped and everybody's going, it's so good. We're 3 episodes in and it's so amazing. It's so good. We absolutely love it. And I'm like,
well, there we go.
He's just going to sub it for you. So you don't have to worry about it. It's like Elden Ring all over again. She'll just sub it for you and you'll get it.
The music's kicking in. That means it's dripping down for time for the close. So thank you again this week for everyone for tuning in, listening, people live, people who've listened on podcast services, people on YouTube. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you very much. And it's a goodbye from me. It's a goodbye from Alan.
Goodbye.
And it's a goodbye from Phil.
So long.
Take it easy, everybody. Until next week. Bye.